You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And I thought today, Jim, we'll start by talking about something we talked about off the top of the show, and that's the fact that Andre Fortin, for people who don't know the name, I want to say high-profile member of the provincial Liberal government. High-profile in the sense that we have spoken to him over the years. I think at one point he was the transport minister. And every time we talked to him, we came away with the same sort of feeling like, you know what? We like this guy. You know, he speaks well. He's fluently bilingual, by the way, speaks perfect English, and just came across as I hate to say it any other way, but just a really nice guy. And we kind of would ask him from time to time, hey, do you think maybe perhaps you might be interested in running for the Liberal leader? And he kind of always, kind of sloughed it off. And then the last couple of times it's been, no, my family and whatever. And then he made it, I guess, officially official earlier today at a local radio station there, and we're trying to understand why he said no. It doesn't take much to try to understand why he said no. I mean, he gave the typical reasons about family, etc., but it's kind of like who would want to be the head of that party?
Well, before I go any further, I just want to convey my deepest sympathies to you, Aaron, because I know this guy's been breaking your heart since 2018. I remember after the Couillard Liberals got cut to ribbons by the CAC and Legault. You, in fact, everything you just said now, you said, my God, 5 years ago, because the guy, he parlez-vous, he's utterly bilingual, he's media savvy, he's well-spoken, he seems to fill, and most importantly, and believe me, this is a job requirement that's going to become essential down the road, presuming they ever find a leader, which is he's not from Montreal. This is an Outaouais boy born and raised and garde de la région, and that's what they need. And yes, I listened to that interview this morning, and he was very forthright. He kept saying, I measured it, and I'm not going to give up the time I have now with my daughters, to sort of go into the whole. I know what's involved in a leadership contest, and I'm not prepared to sacrifice raising my daughters to do that. And I have no reason to doubt his good faith. But as I'm listening to him, this guy who, was perceived as, a lead pipe cinch, to tell you the truth. I'm thinking it says something about Andre Fortin, but I think it says volumes more about the state of the Liberal Party right now. Mr. Fortin is not some hermit. I mean, yes, he wants time for his family. He found the time to coach Justin Trudeau during the leadership debates. I think in the 21 election. The guy is not, every weekend going home to Outaouais and shutting his doors, and he knows that there is a work-life balance. But more and more, it's becoming apparent that it's going to be a very, very difficult task to find a leader who's going to fulfill the criteria, and these had better be the criteria, to win them the next election. I also find it interesting that his announcement was made today as the famous Quebec Liberal road show is slowly but surely rolling into existence. I know they're meeting with the Gazette this week, and presumably they're going to do the media tour before they go out on the big highway and spend their summer or doing a meet and greet. But yeah, it's when you see someone who has all the qualifications, who is at the point in his life, he's not an old guy. He seems to have been tailor-made for this job, and I'm sure, as I say, I'm absolutely sure he's sincere when he says this. But when that door is closed, even though we're in the middle of a theoretical summer lull, that door being closed sounded like a slam you could hear from one end of the province to the other. And I think the Liberals are going to be very, very hard-pressed to turn around, even if they go outside the party. And ultimately, I think they will have to go outside the party to get the leader that they want. It's going to be a really tough sales job to get someone who is, as we say in Hollywood, an Andre Fortin type. And my God, we keep saying it over and over. When something's in the news, we're the Liberals, we're the Liberals. And when we do hear from the Liberals, it's something like this. Right. It doesn't bode very well for the future.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is I still feel like André Fortin has his eye on the long-term prize, right? He's not going anywhere. He's young. There's lots of, track ahead of him, as they say. And I think he's smart to know that it doesn't make sense right now. And then I think about, oh no, I'm blanking on his name, Dion Charest. You interviewed him.
Jean Charest's son.
Jean
Yeah.
Charest's son.
Yeah.
Is it Alexandre?
Marc-Antoine
Dion Charest. So he, that's someone to me who could come in and try and, I don't know, stir the embers of this party, get something cooking, and then allow André Fortin to come back into play, 4 or 5 years down the road.
There's nothing wrong with your theory, although I'd respectfully submit we're not talking about years with the Quebec Liberal Party. Okay? I think we're talking about, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Really?
No political party, especially one that used to have the stature of the Quebec Liberals in Quebec, can afford to be off the radar as long as they've been right now, guys. But if we're talking about 2-3 years, they will be as they'll be like the Greens. I mean, they are already perceived. Their brand has been so tarnished and shot through full of holes. They are perceived, and not that much ironically, as the Quebec, the Liberal Party of the West Island of Montreal. That's where they are right now. And we used to have in news meetings or where's the Gazette going to go? There was the expression, we have to work with a sense of urgency in what we do. Okay, I'm detecting no sense of urgency on the part of the Liberals at all. Normally, you'd be getting leaks at this time. Oh, this one's interested, that one's interested. Even with the story that was moved by the Canadian press today, the names that they are citing are the same names that have been kicking around for the past couple of months. There seems to be no, Deus Ex Machina or sort of sudden plot twist that seems that is going to change that narrative. And when we talked about this the last time, I suggested, and not that ironically, that the Liberals might seriously want to consider taking a leaf from their counterparts in British Columbia and changing their name, because every single day for the Quebec Liberals is a day lost. I mean, people can talk about, oh, look at the pre-Q. There are only 3 members, but they got, they're polling in the 20s for now. Especially after this gaffe with the Fête Nationale, we'll see what their numbers are like. The Liberals, however, cannot afford to wait, and yet I get the impression that is exactly what they're doing. And as I say, I'd be very surprised if by this time next year, we'll still be talking about the Quebec Liberals, but who knows what iteration they'll be in by then. But one thing I know for sure, it'll be a diminished version of what we're seeing now.
Meantime, in Ottawa, where today Justin Trudeau was answering questions about the public inquiry, trying to kick the ball a little further down the field, here's some of what he said, Jim, today.
It is really important to us that we move forward with a consensus from all parties on the way forward. We need to have buy-in from the other parties so that we do not see the kind of partisanship and toxicity that was all too evident last time.
So it seems to me, Jim, we talked to Robert Fife earlier this afternoon as well. This thing is just going to get kicked down the field over and over again, and nothing is going to come of this, at least not until there's another federal election, and by then nothing will have been solved.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we just heard the clip, right? First of all, what does buy-in mean? But the other thing is, when you say, the highly partisan atmosphere, what he's saying is, listen, I got 3 opposition parties that don't agree on anything. So I'm going to wait for them to agree with each other on how this thing is going to go before we decide to announce anything whatsoever. Now, maybe with all the kind of, heart-fluttering rapture over these great, anonymous CISA scoops about, Chinese government interference in the election, maybe that will sustain these 3 party leaders to sit down, Jagmeet Singh, Yves Blanchette, and Pierre Poilievre, to say, all right, let's put all our partisan differences aside, all of our agendas aside. Let's come up with a formula. It ain't going to happen. Trudeau knows it. And quite frankly, I think everyone in that scrum knew it. And the other, I'm sorry, but I've been in this business a long time. Do you really think the flame about political interference in Canadian politics is burning as brightly today as it was 2 weeks ago? And will it be burning as brightly 2 weeks from now? I don't think so. So, yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm no fan of Justin Trudeau, but he knows his adversaries. He knows they'll never agree. So when he turns around with a straight face and says, we ain't doing nothing till these guys agree, as we say in these parts, that whole thing just wound up in filière 13.
So which camp are you in? Are you in the camp that he is going to pull the plug and go for a fall election to get ahead of Pierre Poilievre grandstanding and having a heyday with all of this? Or are you on the team, like, just wait it out?
Oh, I think he's going to wait it out simply because Pierre Poilievre is his own worst enemy. Every time Pierre Poilievre opens his mouth, he costs him a point in overall support. It's great. He's great copy for reporters. I do this for a living. He gives people great leads with his accusations and his enunciations that this country is broken. Justin Trudeau is one of the biggest fat political targets there is in Canada, with this government's demonstrable lack of talent and efficiency, and yet they are shooting away a la Trump on personalities, on these stories, which, as I say, are really approaching their best before date, and hoping that people will get worked up, especially now as we drift into this sultry, rainy, I got better things to do with my time summer. Fearless prediction, I don't think we'll be spending anywhere near as much time talking about foreign interference in Canadian politics by September as we are now. And quite frankly, we ain't talking a lot about it now.
It's a fair point. James Mennie, Jim, thank you.
Adamant.